Hi, I'm Doug Gould, and today we're going to introduce the PreSonus StudioLive AI mix system. Mix system involves two PreSonus StudioLive mixers, which are cascaded together to make an entire mixer, one mixer. Not two linked mixers, but one cascaded mixer. And if you want to buy a system like that, you can buy one from 32 all the way up to 64 channels. If you already own a PreSonus StudioLive mixer, you can add another one of any model and get that many more channels cascaded. So you've opened the box, and hopefully you'll have one of these in each of the boxes. Two 24s, two 32s. And you'll also get the joining kit, which allows you to connect the two of them together to make them one mixer. What that includes is a bottom plate, a joining adapter, screws, directions of how to put these things together. You also notice that I have a screwdriver here. It's a number 1 Phillips. You're going to need one of those, and you're going to need a rubber mallet. So you've opened up the box with the joining plates in them. You're going to see a bigger piece that actually connects the two sides together, and a bottom bracket that actually will join both mixers together on the bottom panel. You're going to get some screws with it, and I've already put in the first screw in the front. Front goes towards the more narrow end of the joining adapter. And I'm just going to screw that in. So we're going to show you how to join the two mixers together physically now. And to help me do this, because it's too much for me to do myself, I got my buddy Justin here to help me do this process. And I suggest that you get a friend. Doesn't need to be as big and strong as he is, but somebody who can absolutely help you put these things together, because it's a chore. And we're going to take 3 screws out of the bottom of this right panel here. This will be the mixer that's going to be on the left side of your cascaded system. And we're just going to take the 3 screws out. I'm going to set that back down. And now we're going to take off this plastic panel. And you'll notice that there's some clips here that have been holding that panel in place. We're going to take those screws and those clips off, and we're going to put them back on here so we don't lose them in case we want to make the mixer act as one again. So we've got the panel off, and now we're going to put the joining plate on, and there's some little connectors here that actually would get inserted into these holes along the side. And what you do is you just find that first one, slide it up a little bit, and they line up, and you're just going to push it down. And you might, if you have a little bit of a struggle and you have a rubber mallet, you can just tap that in there to make sure it's seated. And then we're going to install 3 screws on the bottom plate so that it's joined there as well. All right, so now we're ready to repeat the process on the second mixer, and I'm going to actually take the left side panel off of this one, taking the right side panel off the other one, take the opposite one off the other mixer. And it's exactly the same thing that we did before. We're going to go to the bottom of this plastic panel, and we're going to remove the 3 screws. So we've taken the second mixer and we've slid it into the joining panel. Those little inserts go into the holes, and they're going to be a little forward. You're going to lock it back in place until it clicks. You again might need that rubber mallet to tap it into place. And once they're connected, we're going to lift this up as one. Again, hopefully your friend has stuck around. Justin is so loyal. And we're going to put the other remaining 3 screws into the bottom plate. So now we have our 2 mixers physically joined together. They're not linked as one mixer yet, but we're going to do that in a few minutes. Before we do that, I want to make sure that you've registered your mixers with PreSonus. And to do that, you go to my PreSonus account, put your serial number in, you'll see your account, and you'll download the latest firmware for updating your mixers. They might have the newest firmware in them already. Chances are they don't. So you're going to download the firmware to your desktop, take the contents of that, copy it to a USB drive, put it into the USB port, hit the System button. I want you to page down to page 9. And you'll read on the bottom where it says check firmware update. push recall. The recall button is to the right of that. And it's checking for the update. Do not power off your mixer. It'll give you a little prompt that will remind you not to turn off your mixer. Okay, the prompt now says that the firmware update is complete, and we're going to power cycle off the mixer. We're going to take out our USB drive and power back on. So after you've turned the mixer back on, it's going to show you that it's finishing the update. It'll take a couple of minutes to do that. And while I'm waiting for that to happen, I'm going to repeat the process on this part of the mixer. So there's one thing left to do now. We've got to take the firewire cable that came in your box of goodies with your manual and your software. And you're going to take that out and you're going to physically link the two mixers together with this firewire cable. I'm going to put one end in this mixer and the other end in this mixer. And now they're connected. And this should now act as one system. A couple of steps we have to do before that. We have to link them with the system menu. So I'm going to hit this. I'm going to go down to the page it's appropriate for that. And you're going to use these arrows, previous and next, to go to where it says Link ID. And you're going to make sure that the one on the left is your slave. We're going to go over to this one on the right, and it should be master already, but we're going to make sure. And the link ID on this one says master. The reason we do that is when we get into the capture stuff, the capture tracks are going to start here and work up. So if you have them reversed, it's going to kind of mess up your tracks a little bit. To check that they're linked physically now, a couple of good little tests would be to hit your SIP button, solo in place button, and you have to physically hold that down for a few seconds. It's destructive soloing. And by hitting a solo button, if all the mute lights flash across the both mixers, we'll know that they're linked, and they do. You can also test that with your aux mixes. So we've connected the two mixers. It's now one mix system, 64 channels. And in the next video, we're going to show you how they actually operate as one mix system.